This is verse 32 of the 13th chapter, Gospel of Matthew. Jesus introducing the famous parable of the mustard seed, which again is depicting the kingdom of God, which of course begins so small, so inconsequential apparently, that one would hardly think it would ever amount to anything. And yet, just as the mustard seed grows to rather striking proportions, the same idea is true of the kingdom of God. So, ho, which, relative pronoun, this is the nominative, so which, mikroteron. The mikro, of course, is the adjective that means small. The teron adds a comparative idea, so the smaller, smallest, the seed, which is smaller. Men comes over in English usually as on the one hand, but that's so cumbersome it's seldom translated. But uh, the seed comes over on the one hand. Estin, this is the third person singular, present active of ami, so which is the smallest. Pontone, adjective, genitive, plural, of all. Tone, spermatone, of all the seeds. So the smallest or smaller than all the seeds is the idea. It's hoton. The on there is going to suggest we'll get the subjunctive eventually, and indeed that's what we get here. So when, on the one hand, or on the other hand, going along with men, so on the other hand, when it grows up, oxethe. Oxethe is the, of course, the augment is the idea there, the root of that word. It's third person singular. Air is passive, subjunctive. So when it becomes large, or when it grows, maidzone takes the genitive greater than. Maidzone is adjective. And tone lakanon, of all the usually rendered herbs, broader than that, plants. So it's greater than all the plants. It begins as the smallest of seeds. It winds up the greatest of all the plants. Of course, this is the prediction Jesus has of the growth of the kingdom through history. So it starts so small and ends up having such a dominant effect. Estin, once again, is kai genetai, becomes, from genomai, I become dendron, a tree. So this actually becomes greater than the trees. The greatest of them, you might say, largest of the herbs, and it becomes a tree. Hosta, so that. Aelphane, from erkamai, this is a infinitive, so having come is the idea. Ta petena, the birds to renew of the heavens. Also kataskenun, from skenoo, which means to dwell somebody, especially to live in a tent. The idea to settle down with the kata here. So the birds of the heavens settle down in tois kladois, from klados, a branch, in the branches, in the dative plural here, autu, of it. So, of course, the general idea is that the kingdom that Jesus established began in such a apparently minuscule way. Wouldn't amount to much, one would think, and yet, of course, over history it continues to grow and expand, and will continue to do so, of course, until presumably a time comes, as Isaiah describes it, as the knowledge of God covers the earth, as the waters cover the sea. We're seeing this gradual growth over the years of history, and can anticipate seeing a continued expansion of the kingdom as history unfolds.